Hi class, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about algebra equations. Remember last week we began our algebra with expressions, which is to evaluate expressions and to simplify expressions, which is combine like terms. Now we're going to enter our modules of algebraic equations. So now first of all, let's take a look at um, the functions of equations, which is to express the equality of two mathematical expressions. Well, mathematical expressions can be numerical or variable expressions. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so when we talk about numerical equations, expressions, we mean like 2 plus 3 equal to 5. Okay, so that in itself is expressions. Variable expressions, which is what we've been doing last week, which is like x plus 3. Combine like term will get you 2x plus 3. Okay. Now, when we deal with algebra equations, it's very important for us to keep an image of a balance. Okay. Say that on the left side of the balance you have x, and on the right side of it you have a 3, quantity of 3. So we can say that x is equal to 3 because they are of equal weight. Now, the idea of algebra equation is that whatever happens on the left side also have to happen on the right side. Well, let's see what do we mean by that. Let's say I add 10. Sorry, let's say I add 7 on my right side. That's something new to the equations, right? If I add 7 on the right side, I have to add 7 on my left side as well. Because coming back to the image of this balance, if I add 3 in here, without doing anything on my left side, the right side of the balance will be too heavy and it will sink in. So this is plus 7. So to give itself a balance, you also have to add 7 on the left side. Now they are of another equal weight. So on the left side you have x plus 7. On the right side is equal to 3 plus 7, which is 10. Okay. Good. But what if I give you a problems and the problems begin with x plus 7 equal to 10. Without looking at my previous notes, can I solve it? Yes. We can definitely solve an algebra equations. By the way, when we talked about solving an algebra equations, we mean that whatever the questions, how it look like and all that, at the end of the day, we try to reach to a conclusions of a variable equal to a constant, a numbers. That I want my final answers to look like that. A variable, well in this case, the variable is x, so I want my final answers to be x equal to something. Okay? Now look at the example questions over here. X plus 7 equal to 10. So continue with the math. What do I have to do is that I have to minus 7. That's what we call reverse operations. So that plus 7 minus 7 will get you what? 0. X plus 0 equal to 10 minus 7, which is 3. Altogether, you have x equal to 3. So we wish that the final answers has to be a variable equal to a numbers. Now I have a variable of x equal to a number of 3. So that verifies how that is my final answers. And if you want to backcheck it, yes, x will begin with x equal to 3. And now we've come down from a simple algebra questions to the solution answers of x equal to 3. Okay, just a side note. The side notes that when I talked about reverse operations, that means when you add, the reverse of it is subtract or minus. And obviously the reverse operations of minus will be plus, add, so it's multiply, and divide. Now let me give you a quick examples of a minus questions. So say that we begin with example question number 1. Let's say x minus 7 equal to negative 2. Do you see that I have a variable here, a constant and a constant? Variable, constant, constant. I want to make my final answers look like the variable equal to a constant. So with that being said, there are 2 constants on my example question number 1, and I want to make it into 1. So how can I do that? I have to perform the reverse operations on either constants. For this case, we will perform the reverse operations on the constants of negative 7, so or minus 7, if you want to read it that way. So minus 7, the reverse operation of that is plus 7. Now, minus 7 and plus 7 will get you 0, so you can just cross them out. What's left is x equal to negative 2 plus 7. You do the math, the answer is 5, positive 5. That is my final answers. Again, it verifies the format of variable equal to constant. Okay, let's work on a few more examples here. Let's say question number 2, you're given x plus 8 equal to 5. Same thing, identify the variable, constant, and constant. I want one variable and one constant. So I will have to perform the reverse operations on my constant of 8, plus 8. So the reverse of that will be minus 8, negative 8. Plus 8 minus 8, cross them out. What's left on the left side is x. On the right side, I have 5 minus 8, which is negative 3. Okay, now that I've done the examples of adding and subtracting, let's try some multiplications and divisions. So example number 3, let's say I have 2 over 3 x equal to 8. again, I want to reach down to a conclusion of variable equal to constant. So now I have a coefficient of 2/3. Now we say that, back to our notes over here, that the reverse operations of multiply is to divide, but how am I supposed to divide this? If you think about it, divisions is another form of multiplications. Remember, in fractions divisions, when you have fractions divisions, you have to apply the acronyms of KCF, keep, change, flip, so it becomes an operations of multiplications. In this case, I am multiplying the reciprocal of the coefficients. So multiply the reciprocal of the coefficients. The coefficients in the problem is 2/3, so the reciprocal of it, or another way of saying is the upside down of it, will be 3/2. If I multiply whatever I multiply on the left side, I have to do the same thing on my right side as well. So now you can do the math. Obviously on the left side, the 2/3 and the 3/2 will cancel out. It will become 1x equal to, let's take a look at what's on the right side. I have 8 times 3/2. The 8 and 2 will become 1 and 4 when I reduce it here. So that will become 4 times 3 is 12, which means x equal to 12. Okay, that is my final answers, which just look exactly like that. Or another way of doing it, although I don't prefer it at this point, another way of doing simple algebra equations with multiplication is that's how I let's go back to the questions. The question is 2/3 times x equal to 8. Can I rewrite the questions as if it is 2x/3 equal to 8? Because the x can be also represented as x/1. Go back to what you've learned in fractions multiplications. When two fractions multiply, it will be the numerator times the numerator over the denominator times the denominators. So that will become 2x/3. Sorry, 2x/3 equal to 8, or 8/1. Now what does that look like? Isn't that one of the problems we've been doing in solving proportions? Again, then what are you doing in solving proportions? You do cross multiply. Okay, so just follow the arrows for multiplications. That will become 3 times 8 equal to 2x times 1. 3 times 8 is 24, equal to 2x. Divide by 2 on both sides. You have x equal to 12. So both ways will work, but at this point, I want you to try to focus in multiplying the reciprocal of coefficients to find out the x. Okay, so let's move on. Sample number 4. Let's start with this. Negative 4x equal to 24. Again, that is negative 4 times x, and we just write it as negative 4x. So that is a multiplication, so I have to do divisions. So I can simply take the divisions of -4 on both sides in this case. Again, please divide the coefficients all together. Don't just divide the 4, but divide the -4 in this case. So -4 divided by -4 become a +1, positive 1x equal to, well, 24 divided by -4. The quotients of negative and positive numbers will be what? Negative. So -6 in this case. And at this point, please do not get confused by dividing and multiplying the reciprocal because they mean the same thing. Multiplying the reciprocal is the same as divisions. You can take a look at it at the question number 4 here. I start off with -4x equal to 24. Okay, according to the notes on the previous questions, which is you should multiply the reciprocal of the coefficients. The coefficients in here is what? -4. I multiply that, the reciprocal of it, which will be -1/4. Can we still cancel them out? Yes. Altogether, you will still reach down to 1x equal to -6, which is x equal to -6. Okay, we're gonna do one more questions for this video. Again, at this point, we're just looking at some very simple questions over here. The next video where we will elevate the difficulties of algebraic equations to some more like intermediate level of it. Now the last question, so question number 5 is -9 equal to 3/4y. Again, what you should do is, because the coefficient is a fraction, so it is better for me to multiply the reciprocal of it, which is the same thing as saying divisions. Okay, the reciprocal of the coefficients will become 4/3, but if I multiplied it on the right side, I have to do the same thing on my left side. So now the coefficients will cancel out with the reciprocal. What's left on the right side is a 1y equal to -4/3 times -9. So when two negative multiply, you yield a positive answers. So it has to be a positive numbers in this case. What? Now 3 and 9 will be 1 and 3, so it will become 12/1, meaning y equal to 12. Okay, so that's about it for this video. For our next short video lectures, I'll continue to cover some other forms of algebraic equations, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it and have fun with the classwork and the homework.